Much has been speculated about the ogre's father, Yuichiro Hanma, that he would be even stronger than his son, that he is still alive, and that he will still appear at some point in the present. But let's analyze some facts. Hey guys, how are you? I hope you're doing well. I'm the Monio, the interdimensional demon who talks most about Baki on YouTube, and you're on my channel. There's a lot of confusing and unfounded information on the internet about this character, and this I believe is due to the fact that to this day, we don't have that much information about him. So let's gather the information we have and try to differentiate what is fact from what is just speculation. Since this is a character that constantly appears at the top of Baki's lists of strongest characters, and usually even has a power chart with representation in numbers of the character's strength. First, I would like to say that the vast majority of these images that we see on the internet comparing the power level of the characters are wrong, not because they are necessarily wrong in saying that one or another character is strong, but because they represent with graphs or numbers the power of characters, as these numbers are deliberately invented and based solely on opinion, as authors rarely work with this type of specific information. Not even in official fanbooks of the works, there are no comparisons of character powers in numbers. Part of what we do know is that the ogre's father appears in spirit during the father-son fight arc, which is when we meet him, and we quickly learn about his past from him, and the fact that he's already defeated the US Army, and this is where all the confusion about this character begins. Many people attribute the title of strongest to the father of the ogre because he defeated the US Army alone, and we agree that this is a great achievement, and that it is possible to conclude that he is very strong, but so are other characters like Givaru can face armies alone, and we all know that Givaru, despite being very strong, is not among the strongest characters in the work. Recently I made a top 10 of the strongest characters in Baki in my opinion, and Givaru is not in the list. Not because he is weak, but because there are many other stronger characters. Another thing we have to consider is that canonically the strongest character is Yujiro, who is the strongest living creature, and the US Army itself considers the ogre the strongest, the same army that fought against the ogre's father, so it wouldn't make sense for ogre's father to be the strongest. The most we can speculate is that there is a possibility that he was already considered the strongest in the past. But that brings us to another question: is the ogre's father alive? In my opinion, no. For the reason I just said, it wouldn't make sense for Yujiro to be considered the strongest by the US military if there was this other guy, and the US apparently doesn't even consider the existence of ogre's father anymore, since they don't have a satellite of GPS dedicated to him, as well as Oliva, Givaru, and Yujiro. Also, clearly he appeared as a spirit, indicating that yes, he died. There are also theories that say that in fact that apparition in spirit of the father of the ogre is actually a projection of imagination, since in Baki, there is an ability that most characters have, to design things with their imagination, and it becomes technically visible, like when Baki imagines enemies to keep training, or when Baki and Yujiro imagine a dinner table. This theory is based on the fact that the appearance in spirit of the ogre's father is very similar visually to the imagination projections, and the theory says that in fact Baki's grandfather would be alive somewhere, projecting his energy from him so that he could be visible to Baki. I do not believe in this theory, because for me, it is very clear that the appearance of the ogre's father is something supernatural. One thing that reinforces this is that in the manga, shortly before the apparition manifests itself, Pickle, who is also in the place, feels something and gets really scared. In the anime, this scene even exists, but it goes by very quickly and it is not possible to see his expression of fear from him as we see in the manga. Another thing that I repeatedly see people commenting on is that Yuichiro would have said that Baki won the fight, that he somehow declared that Baki was the champion, and this is part of a misinterpretation of what he said. Yujiro doesn't say that Baki overcame his father, but that he will overcome, that is, not necessarily in that fight, but that one day it will happen. And that makes perfect sense since Baki is currently much stronger than Yujiro was when he had the same age. So Baki is the character who has the most potential to become stronger among everyone. So most likely, if Baki continues to evolve, when he is Yujiro's age, Baki will be much stronger than Yujiro is today. But the Monio, if Baki's grandfather is dead, how did he die? Did someone kill him? Would it have to be someone very strong? Was it the ogre? Well, that question was never answered in the manga. What we have is just speculation. There are even chapters in the manga in the past, which show some things about Yuichiro, but these chapters don't reveal much about what happened to him. It's more to get to know his personality, and how he acted, than to answer questions that happened to him. But a character that is in these chapters and that was a friend of the father of the ogre is Dappo Orochi, so if there is someone who possibly knows what happened to him, it is Dappo. But strangely, in the episode of the fight between father and son, both in the anime as in the manga, Dappo is present, watching the fight, and probably sees the apparition of the ogre's father's spirit, but he doesn't say anything, or at least he isn't shown saying anything, but I imagine there's someone who possibly knows what happened to Yuichiro. It's Dappo. But what up? Do you agree with me, or do you think the theories about Baki's grandfather are true? Leave it in the comments, and subscribe to follow the next videos. Until next time my people, demonic hugs.